Hey everyone, welcome to this video, and today I want to talk about Amazon PPC profitability. But before we get started, I'm Sean Smith from ppcamsaccelerator.com, and please, when you have a chance, if you don't mind, just quickly click the like button. That would really help me out with the YouTube algorithm. All right, let's go on ahead and jump right in. So don't be intimidated by this spreadsheet. It is a lot of data, and it goes far back, years. But this is real data from an account that I work on, and I wanted to share with you, this is Amazon data. And I wanted to share with you an experiment where we really increased sales velocity using advertising, but we saw a decrease in profitability, which is totally fine. That's totally fine. It's just that these days with the economic status, inflation at all times highs, every country is feeling it because of the oil from Russia we're not getting it. So the cost per barrel of oil is going up, and everything needs to be transported. So the oil goes up, and then all of those costs are passed on to the business owners and the people that sell the products and services, so it's passed on to consumers as well. So a lot of conversations I'm having with clients is around profitability and finding that balance of sales velocity and profitability. And I just want to go over these experiments, right? These just give you more insight into what you could possibly do with your Amazon PPC account or any clients that you work with. So let's hop on in. So don't be overwhelmed by the data. I want you to look at column BM right here, column BM and column BO. Column BM and column BO. And under column BM, April. So during April, I decided that I wanted to try to accelerate the sales velocity of a brand, a product set, which is a brand that I work with. One of their brands, they have many brands, but one of the brands I wanted to be like, hey, let's see if we can push sales velocity and see what that looks like. So what I did was I started testing new targets like keywords, product targets, things like that. And I increased the spend because I wanted to increase sales. And let me go, and then after that, so this is kind of the context of April 2022. And in June 2022, I decided to dial back those, dial back the ad spend and dial back those experiments because the brand, the ACoS wasn't great. We were just testing it out, right? Testing to see if it was worth the return on investment. So June 22 is going to be the after, and April 2022 is going to be the before. So we did 901,000 in sales, 785,000 in sales in June. But what I really want you to look at is the PPC to organic ratio, 53% in April and 55% in June, right? Interesting that they're the same even though sales are lower. Let's go through some more metrics. The ones that are important to this video are going to be in red. All right, here on the 70,630, that is the ad spend, total ad spend for that month. And if you can tell that June is $20,000 less, right? It looks like $19,000 less in terms of ad spend. So April, we spent about $19,000 more. We can see that the ACoS is 14.5% here, and the ACoS is 11.74% here. So lower, significantly lower ACoS. And then TACoS, which is the advertising spend divided by total sales. It's 7 point, which I like to, it's a profit metric, man. It can tell you, like, if it's higher, you're going to be most likely, you're going to be less profitable. If it's lower, you're going to be more profitable. 7.84% in April, and then 6.56% in June. Significantly lower. When you're dealing with high velocity, 1 percentage point, 1.5 percentage points is a lot when you're dealing with a high velocity account. And then net margin after all fees is 80,000, and then here it's 84,000. This is what they put for me. The net margin is actually higher. It's about $5,500 higher than it was in April, right? The net margin. Yeah. Yep. Perfect. That's after everything. And this is a larger company, so they have overhead and all this stuff. So their margins might not be as good as like a private label seller who doesn't have like a warehouse and all that stuff. This is a larger brand, and they have larger, like, it's multi-channel. So that's why their margins might not be as high as well. But one thing I wanted to let you guys know that, hey, you know, like our margin is a lot, and you can see that number here, like this is less than this, and then this is less than this, right? That tacos, like that. That's what I was talking about, that profit metric. So ultimately, like, what do we decide? We decided to dial back the ad spend because on average, for this account, I spend between $40,000 and $45,000 a month on ads. And, you know, we bumped it up to test it, and then we dialed it back May and then to June. The reason I did June versus May is because the June numbers are a lot lower, closer to the normal number, and we're going to be even less for July. So ultimately, like, what does this tell you? Well, this tells you that you can go so many different directions using Amazon advertising. If you need to liquidate inventory and sell through inventory quickly because maybe it's in the warehouse and you don't want to get all these inventory fees and all that stuff, then or if you're low on cash flow, right? Because Amazon is a cash flow business. So if you're low on cash flow, maybe you're going to bump up the sales velocity like we did in April. You'll take a smaller margin, but you'll get cash in the bank, right? Quicker. You'll get cash in the bank quicker. To whereas if you want to be more profitable and you want to, you don't need the cash flow as much, you don't need as much cash flow, then, or you don't have as much inventory and you're not worried about inventory fees, then you can slow it down and focus on profitability. So, or if your business is one of those businesses where you just want to grow as fast as possible, then you can break even, take a loss, or take a small margin. Whereas if you want to be more profitable, you dial it back. So, you know, really this boils down to individual business goals because, you know, businesses I work with all have different goals. Like one of the accounts I work with, we're really dialing in profitability like crazy, like really pushing the limits on profitability. And then another account that I can think of, we're really finding that balance between velocity and profitability because we don't want to dial too hard on profitability because we want the velocity as well. And we don't mind taking less of a margin if we can get the velocity. So, you know, this is one of those things where it's like, hey, this boils down to business goals. But I will tell you in this current economic climate, I am having conversations around profitability a lot more and skewing towards that direction. You know, not necessarily dialing down profitability like crazy and just focusing only on profitability, but with one account I am. But, you know, really, you know, having that conversation and thinking to myself, you know, how do we move towards the ideal ratio of velocity and profitability? You know, it's really, really important, especially right now, man, especially right now with everything that's going on. You have to be smart, right? You have to think smart about everything. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. And if you haven't already, please click the like button below. And, you know, yeah, appreciate you guys so much.